So pattern class compiled form of a regular expression. And pattern is compiled form of a regular expression. Okay. Right. So if you already know regular expression, then how do we create a pattern of it? Okay. So to create a pattern, we don't have a constructor. Okay, but we have static method to do that. Okay. So we have a static method to return a pattern object. So that's a method in the pattern class itself. Okay. Name of the method is compile and parameter is a string and your regular expression which you want to do. So you can give it, you can use a regular expression in the compile method and get a pattern object. That's how you create a pattern. And creating a pattern is like this. Okay. See, for example, you might have a pattern for an email ID, and you might have a pattern for an email ID. So create a pattern. Okay. So regular expression is there for the email ID, and then create a pattern for it. Okay. Fine. Once you have a pattern object, okay, pattern. Okay. Then the most important part. Pattern is only representation of a regular expression. That's it. It's a compiled form of a regular expression. There's no matching which is done by this. Pattern does not do any matching. It's just a representation of a regular expression. Okay. The actual matching, or we call it as a match engine. Okay. We have a match engine in the form of a. So there is an instance method. If you have a pattern, only then, once you have a pattern, only then you will be able to create an object of matcher. So there is a method called matcher. Okay, but it takes as parameter a char sequence. That means a string could also be given here. Okay, that's an input. So maybe I created a pattern for an email ID. Okay, I have got a text which is going as an input to create a matcher object. And then what I should be able to do is invoke the methods on the matcher to see if that pattern occurs somewhere in the input text, or is that input matching my pattern exactly. Okay. So there are various methods in the matcher, right? So the sequence should always be like this. You first have a pattern object created. Okay. Next, for a pattern, okay, so pattern is some regular expression, and now create a matcher using the pattern by calling the matcher method on the pattern. And I'll do an example like this. So you'll say, okay, pattern equals, and there should be some, okay, I'm leaving it. Right? So, okay, that's not the actual string, right? But something, right, which is a regular expression for an email ID. Okay. So if this is how you have done it, okay, you have created an email pattern, then you might say, okay, I've taken some input from the user. So user has given me, so from the user, maybe I've got, I've asked him to enter an email ID. So here is the email field. Okay. Okay. What he's put into the email field equals, and that's the input from the user. Okay. That's the input from the user. And now what you could be doing is you could be saying matcher, okay, and 1 equals uh, email pattern. So it's a method of the pattern dot matcher. That's how you create a matcher. There's no other way of creating a matcher. Okay, and that's my email field. right? So we have the how to create a matcher is like this. Okay, matcher is not only about just checking whether that email field is there. Okay, so you could have maybe you have a string which is an email field, you have a string which is the entire email text. Okay. And so in that email text, I have created one matcher like this, and I could be creating another matcher M2 by using email text. Okay. The purpose in both the cases is different. In the first one, I want to validate whether, right? So I want to validate whether M1 has a, so I don't have to specify any parameter now. Okay, I'll just be saying, okay, if M1 dot, if not M1 dot matches. So if it doesn't match, okay, print an error message. Okay. It's not matching. It's not any, you're not given an email ID. Your string does not match my email pattern. Okay. Whereas in this case, you won't be doing like this. What you might like to do is, let me create a string array or list of string array. Okay. Something like this. And then I'll say, okay, I have created this matcher. Now while M2, okay, dot find. Okay. M2 dot and make the method to fetch the whatever has matched. So I can use the method called group or okay, what is this group or anything? But the idea here is that I would be fetching while I can find. So I call the find method, it jumps to the next occurrence of the pattern in the input. We are giving an input, so it jumps to the next occurrence of the pattern in the input. And it returns true or false. See, matches also returns true or false. Okay. See, the two ways we may be using a pattern. The three basic methods in the matcher which do the matching job. So matcher is doing matching. One is exact match. That's what we did with M1. When we use the method matches, it's saying, okay, use the entire input. Does the entire input match my pattern? In this case, no, I'm not looking at the entire input. I'm searching for the pattern. It does not consume the entire of the input. Okay, fine. There's actually a third method also. But now let me put the methods of matching. Okay, let me show a figure so that you can remember what is happening here. What does, like we saw when we saw scanner, we said there were three things in the scanner. Right? Scanner had the delimiter, it had the three-state information, it had the radix as well as the locate. Similarly, if you look at a matcher object, because that's a matching, pattern is simply one random expression, that's it. Okay. So the match engine is the matcher object. So for a matcher object, if we try to look at a figure, it looks something like this. So, see, first create a pattern object. So this is my pattern object. Okay. Then we call the matcher method on this. So when we are giving the matcher method, yes, it's creating a matcher object. Okay. Here is a matcher object, let's say, which is getting created. Okay. And it has two things. To create this matcher, we actually have to give an input. Okay. Input is a CAD sequence, not necessarily a string. Okay. So a matcher object has two things. It has a reference to a pattern. It has a reference to an input. There are two things available to a matcher object.
It's matching the pattern to the input.
And this input is it may be matching, it may be finding, it may be looking at. There's a method called looking at. I'll explain what it is. So there are three methods to return a Boolean value, and when it returns a Boolean value, it is actually maintaining more things inside this object. Okay, there are more things inside this object. So there are three basic methods which do the matching part. In a matcher, there are three basic methods. All three will return a Boolean value. So and these methods do not require a parameter because it already has the things available. It has a pattern, it has an input. Okay, so what it should do? So the three methods, common methods are matches, no parameters. All three methods returning Boolean. Fine. Other method I will first say is looking at, or we have the method called find. What's the difference between matches and looking at? Matches means the entire input has to be consumed, whereas looking at is like saying, oh, does it start with this? Does the input start with this pattern? It may have more things following that. So it starts with an email ID and there are more things after that. So then also it's fine. Okay, so looking at will say yes. It will return true if it starts with the email ID. Okay, find need not be starting with an email ID, but I'll look for the others. You call the find method next time, it's going to proceed further. Okay, see one more thing here. What's happening is when we use a method called any of these three methods, which are all three methods return true false, Boolean. When we use any of these methods, it is updating the results of the match operation are stored in this matcher. Or rather in this matcher, I should say, it actually does also create an object. Okay, it does create an object which is of type match result and capital. So there is actually an interface called match result, and this is implemented by the matcher. Methods of match result are there in matcher. Okay, matcher also has a method to give you this object. So this can tell you what exactly it has. So if it has matched, a regular expression, you can specify capturing groups. In a regular expression, we can specify capturing group. So when I ask for group 0, I was asking for a capturing group 0. Okay, I use the method group 0. Okay. So that's a method of match result. Okay. You can ask for, see, there might be a number of capturing groups. So how many group, what's the group count? See, your regular expression for an email ID, right? It may have, your email ID has a name part, then there is a @ part, then there's the domain part. Okay, so your capturing group could have been created like this. Okay, I have this part, I want to extract this part also. So it has two capturing groups. Right? The first left bracket, that's an indication of the capturing group part. The second occurrence of a left bracket in a regular expression, that's my group 2. So this is group 1, this is group 2. the entire thing which has matched is group 0. Okay. So you could be asking for, okay, if it has matched, only then the methods of match result can be used. Otherwise, it will say illegal state exception. Because last match method, or these three are the match methods. These three methods did not return true. Any of those three methods, last invocation of this, if they return false, here it will say I don't have any result, right? In this it will say I don't have a result. If you try any method from match result, throw an exception, illegal state. It has to, any of those method invocations on a matcher object has to return a true for the methods of match result to work. If they return, if the method is returned a false, you can't be invoking the method, you can't be asking for the group or anything else. Right? Okay. And we'll continue tomorrow with this pattern and matchup. But I would like you to look at what is a regular expression. Study about the regular expression. Right? What is this thing called capturing group?
This group means one match.
No. One match is the entire thing which has matched.
Yes.
In this, you have, see, okay, I'll give the way we are going to be using it in our application. Okay. What we would like to do is, we would like to go for command-based interaction. So we would like to be giving commands like saying, okay, I want to open an account, and so I'll say, okay, so if I have to open an account in the bank, right? So I'll say, okay, let's use the method called. So my interaction will be same, open. Okay. Next, I'll have some white spaces, will be one or more white spaces, followed by S or C, right? Uppercase, lowercase, I should be able to take care of all of it. Okay, I might give in upper or lowercase. So I want to open a savings account. I have this name, okay, and I have the amount to be there, right? Something like this. So that's my opening balance I want to specify. So I have this kind of a command. There's a pattern to it. So when I have written that pattern, this part I know is going to be used for identification purpose. Which command? Like open is one command, you will have a deposit command, you have a withdraw command. So we got the first word will identify the command. But once I have identified this is the command, I would like to know the value of the type, the value of the name, the value of the opening balance. That's what I should be capturing. Put it as a capturing group and then get the value. What it has matched with. That's what will be available. Okay. So basically we are going to be using it in our application. And how we want to, because we want to have a command based interaction. Okay, so there's a syntax to our, this is the syntax. It says, oh, it should be open is the first thing. Then you may use any number of white spaces, I don't care about them. But the next thing should be either S or C, nothing else will be allowed. Upper lowercase doesn't matter. Right? And then the next thing should be only alphanumeric. Okay? And then the next thing should only be digits. A sequence of digits. So if that's the case, yes, I'll take the input. Then it's what you have entered is a valid command. Otherwise, I'll just throw a message saying, oh, you need to enter one of these following commands. You can give a message there. But once it has satisfied this syntax, that's my syntax basically. If it satisfies the syntax, I will have to be, now my code will have to capture the values for the type of account, name, and the balance. And then I'll be using it in my application, remove the method and give the response back to the client. That is the whole idea here. Okay, and so try to have a look at regular expressions. Okay, it's a subject on its own, the regular expression itself, quite vast, but some idea you should have. Okay, fine. So continue tomorrow.